going on, everybody? It is the first of November. Can you believe it? Happy belated Halloween. Last night was Halloween. Kind of quiet in my neighborhood. Got a lot of kids in the neighborhood, but I think the tradition is way different today than it used to be. In my days, you went trick-or-treating in the neighborhoods, and these days they do more of the trunk or treat and more parties and more private, individually at your home and things like that. So didn't have any visitors. Nobody showed up at my front door in a costume, even though I did get some candy. Quite interesting. November 1st, 2022, Tuesday. Lake Fork Public Rundown right here for you. I talked to you last Thursday, and I left this up here for a reason. I don't have the water temperature clarities are the same, but the reason I left this up is when I gave you last Thursday's report, we were at 39600, which is exactly 7 feet below full pool. The rain that we got through the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, brought the lake up 2 inches, a little more than 2 inches, 0.23. So we went from 39600 to 39623. Okay, 2.5 inches. Remember, this is to the hundredths, but for every tenth of a hundred, it's actually a little bit more than an inch. Not much. We discussed that before. I'm not a mathematician, but you'd have to divide every tenth. You'd have to divide 12 inches by every tenth to know how much a tenth of 100 is. It's like probably an inch, 0.1, something like that. Anyways, regardless, we came up to 2.5 inches, let's say. We're already dropping. It baffles me why. Why we've already dropped a ½ inch or more in just a couple of days. It's not summer anymore. It's November. It's moist. It's cool. I don't know. I talked last time about it. It is what it is. But remember that rising water rises the fish. Stable water really makes them fire up. The more time it can be stable, the better. But we're dropping already. And I can tell you firsthand that I came from Arizona and California. Mostly Arizona lakes, they drop at unbelievable because they're for irrigation. Big municipal sources, power generating sources, canals that have to fill throughout the entire state. And it was the most frustrating thing all my life dealing with dropping unstable lakes. I really didn't think coming to Texas that I would experience the same. And through the past 9 seasons, I haven't. Only the last couple of 2 or 3 years, I have really seen this lake become massively unstable. And it is what it is. The fish just adjust a lot. They pull up and move. They just relocate, reposition. Remember, falling water falls them out, so your points are still your best deal. But however, the fish have moved in. They moved into the creeks, so a lot of your ditches and drains. A lot of times when the lake is really changing and constantly changing on them, they won't even use the points anymore because those are still changing. And every couple of days, they've got to readjust. So they'll go to other places. They'll go out into the trees and in the ditches and drains and suspend on the wood. And now they don't hardly have to change at all. They don't have to relocate. They can just use the tree at a different level. So their movement is only up or down versus moving in and out. And that's what's happening right now. That's the reason I brought this up, is I want you to understand that fishing is tough on Fork right now. And that's because they're suspending in the trees like crazy. The suspension level is anywhere from 3 to 8 feet, okay? You can fish a lot of baits, spinner baits, square bills, crank baits, chatter baits. Some of your best baits really are the plastics. Slow, fish your plastics really, really slow. We're really finishing the post, whatever you want to call it, post-turnover conditions. Remember in my lesson, the turnover happens real quick. The conditions from the turnover can last 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. But the oxygen levels are good. The clarity is really good. The temperatures are really good, 64 to 67 degrees throughout the lake. 1 to 2 foot visibility. Other than the dropping factor, the lake is super stable overall. Just the level's changing. So get on, yes, some points, main lake points, secondary points, channel swings, places that have lots of wood, and places that are steeper, deeper. Okay, I noticed in Arizona a lot when the lake is really dropping. If they're on a flat, man, you've got dramatic change each day. You've got sheer wall, you have very little change. Okay, so some of the steeper, deeper channel swings, channel banks, stuff like that, those are your places to be. The wacky worm is really good on the wood right now if you drop shot. If you're a drop shotter, go flipping a lot of the wood with drop shots. 6 to 8 feet, you're going to get some bites, green pumpkin colors, stuff like that. Put your leader about 12 to 18 inches. On fork, when I'm fishing the trees, I like to have a longer leader, and I go heavier on the weight. Because the reason is I pitch the drop shot past the tree, pull it to the tree, and then I let the bait fall, and I pop it back up. It would fall and pop it back up. And I fish the tree for 4 or 5 minutes sometimes, not quite that long, but I'll fish the tree without pulling the bait out of the tree. And that way I've got it in there, and I let the bait free fall, kind of like a weightless presentation. Pop it back up, let it free fall down into the roots, pop it back up. But that's just a little more public information for you to help you catch some fish right now on fork. I hope you enjoyed this public rundown, because I actually gave you a little more detail than normal. I have not told you the colors or the baits that are working to catch fish. There's a crankbait bite. There's a really small crankbait bite right now. That too can be in your favor. I love throwing square bills on fork. I don't like throwing crankbaits, because when they dive 6 to 8 feet down, you get stuck in the roots, you can't get them. With a 2 to 4 or 5 foot diver, you can usually put your rod and go get your square bill back. With the crankbaits, you can't. But little 4 to 6, 8 foot diving crankbaits are working pretty good as well. Again, I'm not going to tell you colors. I want you to come over to the members only. If you want to know exactly what worm I'm fishing, wacky style, what color worm I'm fishing, the pace that I'm fishing, how I'm fishing it, a little more detail on location, come over to the members only channel. Just look in the links below, in the description below, the description below this video, you'll see a link for members only channel. Just click on that and follow the procedures. But I invite you to come over to my members channel. I also can tell you that there are about 3 different lakes in the area that are fishing outrageous. And I mean outrageous. It says a lot about lack of grass and vegetation in fork, because it's the only lake around here that's not fishing very well. All the other lakes in the area that have some vegetation, even Sam Rayburn is low, but it has vegetation. Sam Rayburn is fishing well. They're fishing like they should in fall. Fork is not. It's the way it is, okay? Pray for more rain. Pray for us to get full this spring. Next year should be really cool. That's what we need. Lots of rain. 5 foot, 6 foot of water come back. Not only do we got a lot of shore growth, but we've got a lot of saplings, baby saplings. Some of them are starting to be the size of not quite my wrist. I got very big wrists, but they're 2 to 3 inches. And those saplings will stay for a long time. The green won't stay, but the saplings will. And it'll give a lot of shallow cover that we really desperately need without the vegetation that we have. But pray for some rain, and fork should come around and be a lot better, okay? You want to know what those 3 lakes are in the area? I mean, they're fishing on fire. It's on fire. There's one of the lakes is literally, so many times in my life I hear somebody talk about 50 to 100 fish a day. Right now there is a lake that you can go catch 50 to 100 a day for the boat, 25 a piece, 30 a piece, maybe you really score. But you can load the boat, okay? If you want to know what those are, come subscribe to the members only, because I'm fixing to tell everybody all about it. All right? Appreciate you. Again, hit the thumbs up, the like button. Hit that like button for me. Comment below. I hope I gave you a little more information if you're coming to Fish Fork this week. I'll come back at you this Thursday and give you a little more details for the weekend. Thank you. I'm Mike McFarland, the Lake Fork Guy.